John. Was part of the consideration into moving into this airdrop plan and the maritime plan, I mean, there had been delays for ground shipments of flour just a couple weeks ago, and Israel had been holding that up. So is part of this because Israel hasn't been a reliable partner as much as the U.S. would like to see in terms of getting aid in?
Part of this is very much because not enough aid is getting in. And not enough people are getting the food, the water, the medicine, and the fuel that they need. That's what's driving this. We recognize the situation's dire. We recognize the need is great, and it hasn't been filled simply by the use of ground convoys.
And is this a way to kind of get around the need for Israel to sort of go through these checkpoints when it's on the ground convoys?
This is a way to get more aid to more people quickly.
And I know you said you don't have an exact timeline, but is there a plan for this aid to be dropped over the course of weeks? Is it months? What does that?
I would say certainly coming weeks. I don't want to. I can't get too predictive right now. We haven't even done the first one. I can assure you there won't be just one. This won't be a one and done kind of thing. There will be additional airdrops. We will learn. We will get better at them over time. But I'd say certainly coming weeks.
Thank you. Will the U.S. continue to supply weapons to Israel after what happened yesterday in Gaza?
We are still helping Israel with their needs to defend themselves.
Thank you, Corinne. John, just a little bit of clarity on the maritime corridor that the president mentioned. Is this the same kind of idea that was floated in Israel in December of having it come through Cyprus? And if I may ask the same questions that my colleague have been trying to get to, did what happened in Gaza City yesterday reaffirm the president's suspicion or frustration about the fact that Israelis cannot guarantee the delivery of aid to Palestinians and hasten his decision to airdrop?
So on your first question, certainly I think, well, the discussion that we've been having about a potential maritime option is informed by recent conversations about the potential use of Cyprus, for instance, as a potential way to maybe stage some of that. Again, I don't want to get into too many specifics now. This idea is still in its infancy, and there's a lot of work that has to be done. So I'm not guaranteeing you that, for instance, Cyprus would be used in any way. I'm just saying that the discussion we're at now certainly was informed by previous discussions with partners in the region about what that could look like. But again, we've got a long way to go here, a lot of work on the maritime front to get this done. And as for your second question, again, the idea of airdrops is not a new one. It's something that we have floated in the interagency before, yesterday. Yesterday's event, I think, underscores the need to find more creative ways of getting assistance in faster and at greater scale, and we're going to continue to do that. Again, I want to stress this. I know you're getting tired of me saying this, but airdrops would supplement, not replace, ground movements.
And can I just continue on Gaza, but on a separate note, I've been noting that administration officials have been repeating the line that Israel is a sovereign country and the U.S. does not dictate to them. Matt Miller says this, Olivia, I think, said this yesterday at the Gaggle. So help me understand here, because for the past couple of weeks, you've been telling us that you have been successful in affecting change in Israeli behavior. You just mentioned it again in terms of opening of Kerem Salam. But I'm seeing a shift, and I don't know if this is correct or not, and if you can explain what's behind the shift. Is the administration trying to distance itself from what Israel is doing in terms of its conduct, or is it reflective of the pessimism of your inability to close the gap between what President Biden wants Prime Minister Netanyahu to do and what's actually happening on the ground? Can you explain if there is a shift?
I think maybe you're reading a little bit more into what we've been saying. Reiterating that Israel's a sovereign country is not. It's not a shift at all. It's a truth. When we don't dictate terms to other sovereign countries. Israel is also a great friend and an ally, and we can have conversations with them that in some ways you can't have with other countries because you are a friend and an ally, and you can be tough and you can be candid and you can be forthright with Israeli leaders, and we're not afraid to do that. But no, there's no shift here. I mean. Make no mistake, as I've said many times just today, not enough aid is getting into people that need it. It's not happening fast enough. It's not happening in the quantity that we need. And we're trying to act to the need. We're trying to behave and change and be more creative to meet the desperate need of the people of Gaza.